When a YouTuber who exclusively covers comics and manga says that the Archie Sonic series is one of the most insane and controversial comics of all time, just show him one of these. Matt with Fortis does an amazing job painting the real-world story behind Archie's multi-decade Sonic the Hedgehog comics. This 47-minute video, whose title keeps changing, highlights the creators who kept this comic running for so long, some of the insane things they got away with, and how one wrong move brought this comic crumbling down. Matt's done insane lengths of research on this topic, like we're talking Nardwuar levels of crazy, and he even interviews some of the most notable figures in this story. If you've ever wondered why some Sonic fans just can't shut up about rallying for Sally, this video will tell you why, and then some. After an over decade-long hiatus, the return of Sonic Shorts with Sonic Shorts Volume 9 is a monumental achievement. Is its inclusion in this video just a ploy for me to plug my Sonic Paradox video? It is now. Sonic Shorts is a sketch comedy series hosted by Sonic Paradox, featuring loads of animators in the Sonic community. After disappearing in the early 2010s, the project struggled to get off the ground again. However, with some new blood in the collective, Paradox were finally able to deliver the longest episode in the series, clocking in at an impressive 40 minutes. This truly feels like the start of a new era for Sonic Paradox, with many previously unfinished projects being worked on again. Whether you grew up with the series or this is your first one, Sonic Shorts is back, with Volume 9 arguably being one of the best in the series. And if you still want more, Volume 10 released mere days before this video. Talk about a Christmas miracle! Okay, this is gonna sound crazy, but just listen to me, right? What do Shin Sonic and Chapel Roan have in common? They both blew up this year for things that came out the year prior. While Shin Sonic has attracted content farms left and right, don't get it twisted, this is genuinely a fascinating horror series featuring multiple forms of animation and filmmaking. Now, if we ignore what's come out of the Friday Night Funkin' mod scene, which I assume most of us have, we truly haven't seen this big of a horror project in this community since Sonic EXE back in 2011, and that thing was ass! Evan Emis has put in years of work to build a world with terrifying creatures, in-depth lore, and some very clever forms of storytelling. I don't want to spoil much more, but if you enjoy horror, this is a pretty fun series to sink your teeth into. Anyone can make a stream highlights video, even a dumb little stupid baby, but none have as much effort put into them as the Silver campaign. Lythro takes his playthrough of Sonic 06 and combines it with the style of a real-time fan dub and parody animations, turning what would be a simple let's play into a 2-hour narrative post. The amount of animation and commissioned artwork sprinkled throughout this one video would have a Disney executive writing layoffs. Even without the production value though, you have a group of friends who know this game inside and out, and use that knowledge to break it, all for the sake of a good bit. If you want a new way to relive the Sonic 06 experience without the fandom trying to gaslight you into thinking it's the best Sonic game, I cannot recommend this video enough. In the past couple of years, we've seen both a resurgence and re-evaluation of Sonic the Fighters, and no other creator has documented this better than Woostoons. This video features interviews with 3 generations of Sonic the Fighters players, which 1 is crazy that there's 3 generations of Sonic the Fighters players, and 2, that all becomes apparent from the wide range of microphone qualities. Woostoons does a great job at highlighting why this game is so often overlooked, alongside its hidden depth and what each key player brought to the title's meta. I gotta play an original Sonic the Fighters cabinet this year, and combining that experience with this video, my urge to bare knuckle brawl Sonic fans is at an all-time high. If you've ever watched the Smash Brothers documentary, this video is right up your alley. I'm a simple man. I see a video with a stylish presentation and I start kicking my feet like a schoolgirl. Art stylist, better known as Doc Shoddy, breaks down the many different art styles in the Sonic series back when it actually had that, in an easy to follow and even easier to appreciate guide. The big thing for me is the love and care that's gone into presenting this information, painstakingly recreating multiple Sonic games UIs and bending them to fit to the video's needs. Not to mention all the little editing flourishes that, again, get me kicking my feet like a schoolgirl. Coming in at only 15 minutes, this densely packed and replayable video is the ultimate guide for any artist wanting to learn more about the art of Sonic throughout the years. Chakra X returns with the highly anticipated sequel to his legendary animation, Nazo Unleashed. Kind of. Due to a multitude of reasons, Sakura was never able to complete this project in the way he had hoped, instead presenting it in a series of fully voice-acted animatics, with some finished animation sprinkled throughout. Knowing the Sonic community, I wouldn't be surprised if a group of fans picked up the torch and finished what Sakura started. Hell, this seems to be what Sakura's manifesting himself. While the animatic for the third act still needs to be released, what we have now is a truly impressive follow-up to a legendary animation that any fan of the original will love. Do not sleep on this.
Oh wow! Another video on Archie Sonic!
Today I seriously thought about killing you.
After spending the majority of 2023 going through Archie Sonic's convoluted story, LoArt spent this year breaking down the many interpretations this run of comics brought to Sonic's cast, and argues why these are their best versions. It's important to note that this doesn't come from a place of pretentiousness, instead coming from a place of passion for both these characters and their often forgotten universes. This universe is where Ian Flynn got his start as a writer for Sonic, and with how little attention Sega paid to these comics at the time, it really gave Ian free rein to meld this world into his own and not have to worry about what the higher-ups are telling him to do. And I would argue this features some of his best work, period. If you're just dipping your toes into Archie Sonic, most of LoArt's videos are around the 15-minute mark, and I would personally recommend the Tails video to start out with. Though, if you want more, don't worry. An 8-hour documentary is there waiting for you. Most of the time, the only thing people remember about a new Sonic game is the animation made to promote it. And when you got games like Team Sonic Racing, can you really blame them? On the other hand, Dark Beginnings feels like something the fans need more time to appreciate. We've had so many back-to-back things coming out that there hasn't been a moment to just chill and take in what we have. As somebody who grew up on Ruby and watched it all fall apart, I was mad skeptical about a 3D anime miniseries starring Shadow, but this is arguably the best piece of official Sonic media we've gotten in the last decade, excluding the game this animation is promoting. But we'll get to that later. Speaking of Ruby, see, it all comes back around. Casey Lee Williams, who did a lot of work for the show's soundtrack, also lent her vocals for this animation, and damn man, just damn. Whether you missed it or only watched it once, I implore you to watch and really take in this animation. I doubt we'll ever get something that matches this quality again. Blessings and Kosherea have been putting out a lot of fashion-inspired Sonic pieces, and as a person who can't live without clothing, I know, crazy concept, these art pieces do wonders for my little brain. No, but seriously, I adore how their art styles complement the cutesier outfits they tend to draw their characters in, really channeling some Harajuku aesthetics. Nano Loves You follows in a similar art style, channeling a little more of a Y2K aesthetic into their work. Fan service included. Nano has a really good understanding of color theory, balancing these dark, atmospheric colors in the vein of a Spawn comic, while bouncing back to a summer afternoon from your favorite slice-of-life anime. Kirby_Popstar_ is best known for their Sonk.rom artwork, just being a parody of Sonic and his universe. I adore how they exaggerate a lot of shapes and give each character their own little snouts. Seriously, Sega, bring back Tails' snout! However, it's more of their adventure-style artwork, which has really stolen my heart. Taking the proportions from this era and applying them to classic Sonic designs really steals my heart, man. Just literally nabbed, you know. We also have Springless Echo, who brought into this world Rewrite Sonic. Now, I get that Rewrite Sonic technically came out last year, but they've been posting a lot of it this year as well, and that's how I found it, so shut up. Rewrite Sonic is equal parts creepy as they are charming. I'm a sucker for early 3D looking artwork, and Springless really plays into this unsettling aesthetic. While this character is meant to be set in the whole EXE world, even having their own Friday Night Funkin' mod, I think they could live strong enough on their own, especially with how much video content that Springless has produced for them. eScrubby_ has taken custom Sonic figures to a new level this year by turning a wide range of Sonic games into toys. From Adventure to Rush to 06, this man's gotta be on some Harry Potter bull to be making half the things he does look as good as they do. Now, moving into more individual pieces, Detetiive put out these charming Sonic character-inspired logos, Tails and Knuckles being my personal favorites of this bunch. We have Daydream_Stream, who created a globe out of the Sonic Adventure 2 map. There's also LegoCHET, who gave us this Amy Rose and Jet Set Radio crossover. I also love a lot of their other artwork, has a very painted aesthetic, but I wanted to highlight this piece in particular because I love Jet Set Radio. We also have rythayze, who came through with some Adventure era inspired Windows XP artwork. You can tell why I like this one just for my own aesthetics alone. But they also were hired by Sega to put out some artwork for the social media account, so a huge shout out to them for that as well. And finally, my GOAT, Mamonoworld, who came through this year with some amazing pieces, including a Froggy Pat Pack and Shadow Slippers. I've been a huge fan of this guy's work for years, and no, I will not stop glazing. I, like many, fell off Sonic games during the 2010s, and as somebody whose trust has been broken one too many times with this franchise, it's taken a lot to convince me that Sonic games can still be good. Frontiers was the first mainline game in a decade to show any promise, but I wasn't convinced yet. It wasn't until Shadow Generations where I felt as though I could safely say that Sonic is back. The strongest part of Shadow Generations comes from its consistency. I know it's a weird thing to highlight, but this feels like the most balanced 3D Sonic game, period. There's no dip in quality, no werehog, no fishing, no other mechanics, nothing that kills the flow of the game. It's something not even an adventure game can say they have. Every idea that is executed works. If we ignore the Shadow Squid, that thing sucks, so that's a minor inconvenience, okay? In general, this is the best mainline Sonic game of this decade and of the previous, and is an excellent starting point for those being introduced to the series via the movies. When it comes to the biggest fan game of the year, Ring Racers delivers on all fronts. Being a sequel to the beloved Sonic Roboblast 2 kart, Ring Racers takes everything that worked about its predecessor and cranks it up to 11, minus the tutorial. That was a disaster upon release. Ring Racers has so much style this time around, really channeling that Sega Saturn aesthetic. These have got to be some of the most creative courses in any Sonic-related racing game, point blank. Pulling from official Sonic levels to levels from other Sonic fan games. There's a whole course based on a mall from this Sonic screensaver. Crazy. Ring Racers is an incredible sequel to an already amazing fan game. I've spent more time this year playing this game than any other game. Seriously, I was playing it during Zoom meetings for work. I can't wait to see how it and its community evolves throughout the years to come. The darling from this year's Sonic Amateur Games Expo, Sonic Rush 3D took the community by storm, capturing the magic and style of Sonic Rush and translating it into a modern Sonic game formula. While it's only a demo of the first stage, it has an insane amount of replay value. This one demo shows the crazy amount of potential this 3D reimagining holds, and I hope the team keeps trucking on. Seriously, I felt like a kid again playing this, which is also why I'm grateful for the infinite lives, because holy crap, it took me 9 minutes to get through this. I am arguably worse at Sonic games than a reviewer at IGN. I had the pleasure of catching the Sonic Symphony back in January, and what an amazing way to start the year. Minus the pink eye and bronchitis, which prevented me from seeing one of my favorite musicians tour for the first and probably last time. Thanks, Sonic fans! A shout out again to Shota for hooking me up with behind the scenes access for the show. It was great seeing these musical pieces brought to life, and also just very special for me personally being able to see my friend Sam Procrastinate's visuals. Really proud of him. I didn't really get to demonstrate that in my original video on the topic, but alas, I'm here to say, proud of you, man. The world's biggest Sonic convention returned to Dallas, Texas this year, and blew last year's event out of the water. There were so many things to do this time around. I felt like I hardly scratched the surface. Major props to both Mistress Phoenix and Jovial Knights for organizing the amazing event. Shout out to all the volunteers and staff who came together to make sure everything ran smoothly, and Lee Majdub for crashing every panel imaginable. I didn't have time to make a video on Expo this year since I was actually working on things for Expo behind the scenes, most notably the Sonic Expo Rave. Live show visuals are a big passion of mine outside of YouTube, so being presented the opportunity to make and perform my own visuals for the very first time was truly a life-defining moment for me, and probably my highlight of the year, period. Another highlight was meeting all of you lovely viewers, and great news, none of you stank. Now, be it I was wearing a mask for most of the event, so hey, at worst, you didn't smell that bad. The biggest event of the year had to have been the third Sonic movie. While I wasn't invited to the red carpet, I would have been too broke to go anyways. Sonic 3 was truly everything I wanted from this franchise. It's crazy to see how far we've come from the original ugly Sonic design to where we are now, where Reddit's golden child is voicing everyone's favorite damaged hedgehog. This was a great way to close out the year, and will be what defines 2024 as one of the best in Sonic's history. 2024 has been an insane year for Sonic, both officially and for the community. It's times like these that I'm truly grateful to be a part of this scene and to have viewers like you to share this with. Sonic fans are some of the most talented people I know, and with so many creatives, it can be hard to truly appreciate what this community has done. So I hope a video like this helps with that, even just a little bit. Going full parasocial for a second, I want to thank the nearly 12,000 new faces who joined my community and have been supporting my content this year. I also want to thank my patrons for going the extra mile and showing their support. This was originally going to be my last hurrah with YouTube, as I was going to walk away if things didn't go anywhere. So I'm really grateful my silly little videos are resonating with all of you. I've been a YouTuber since 2017, and this is the first time I've ever felt like I've belonged in a particular community. So seriously, thank you.